All right. Here we are. Just had an itch to do some sailing, so doing a late in the evening, sort of off schedule stream with Captain Toheel here. Looking forward to hopefully being as successful this time as last time, but man, no promises whatsoever. Also, just fair warning, next time I put on the little wait screen music, whether that's mid stream this time, end of stream, beginning of stream next time, it will be Fluke's Fathoms. So gird whatever loins are appropriate to that. Let's get this thing started. Hope everybody's doing well this Monday evening. New episode, episode 3 of Old Gods of Appalachia over on Dice Punks has posted. So just before I started this, I posted that. I haven't even gone and done promotions on social media or anything just yet, but when you're done here, that'll be waiting for you. It is one I am very self-conscious about, but I think probably turned out fine. We were finishing up here at Frostfound, which doesn't have a whole lot else for us. We got rid of our cannoneer here kind of unintentionally. We weren't trying to get rid of him, or I wasn't, I guess. Your mileage may vary. Also forgot to assign our tireless mechanic last time, and that fuel efficiency and that Veils are both going to be really handy. So glad I thought about that. Gunnery officer, probably prioritize the Veils. Surgeon, I think we decided just a strict improvement. Same with our mascots here. Yeah, cool. So I think we're in pretty good shape. We're reasonably well provisioned here at 12 fuel, 9 supplies, only 1 small hit from some bats. We've spent a lot of money on this voyage, but I'm hoping to be able to recoup a fair bit of it. We did a lot of exploration, took a lot of risks to get all the way up to Irem in the northeastern corner, visit Avid Horizon, the Chapel of Lights in Mount Palmerston. We just got here to Frostfound, which is where our starter officer wanted to go. Obviously, still plenty to explore here. I think that I'm going to try and explore a little bit more in the vicinity of Frostfound here, reveal that a little bit more on our chart. Maybe try to find Wither, and then I'll either go Venderbite, Salt Lions, back to London, depending on our supplies, or I may try to sort of jag over here and pick up a couple more port reports and resources. We'll see how our supplies are doing in that case. Make the decisions as they come. So I think that's going to be our plan. I'm going to try and go around Frostfound a little bit here. And hopefully this will all go as relatively well as last time did. But I guess anybody who's played this game or watched me play enough of it will be aware that I am tempting fate even by saying as much. This art is so cool. I know I keep saying that every time I play this game, but I am very impressed with what they managed to do with just layers of sort of 2D hand drawings and a relatively modest lighting system. It's neat. The big worry here, of course, is that I'll run into lifebergs, which are pretty much what they sound like, and not something that I can really fight at this stage with any significant hope of success. Come on, reveal it, reveal it. There we go. Don't have to go too far out of my way to fill in my chart here. An electric shiver in the air. Storm is watching, the Zailers would say. See, these icebergs are dangerous. You can run into them and damage yourself. But lifebergs, well, chase you. and they aren't slow. So they are much more dangerous still. But hopefully I can find Wither before I chart a course back southerly. Would be nice to have on my map. Doing all right on our supplies. Got the Hole of Frostfound on there. And if we time it just right, we could arrive at the Salt Lions to carry some Sphinx Stone if they've got more for us. With enough cargo space to do it without having to throw anything overboard. Go. Nice to have the luxury of just filling in my chart. That's not always been the case with this captain. Puckridge's Lookout. Boreal Reach. Is this snow? Touch it, and it puffs to vapor. Your crew huddles close to the warmth of the pipe and funnel. That's a lifeberg. I don't know if you guys saw it just behind my logbook there, but we are staying well clear of that. Ah, and we found, well, Codex anyway, I think. Found a port. Yeah, just Codex. A little more precious with my supplies now. All right, here we go. More correspondence, I'm sure it's fine. Isle of Codex. A desperate cave full of mute exiles and an inexplicable colony of shivering, bad-tempered monkeys. That is evocative, suffice to say. We can agree to a damp request if we come back with a submarine. Seeing your ship, a drownie approaches with purpose. After a soggy exchange, it seems he seeks passage to the undersea spire of Scrimshander. If we had a searing enigma, we could acquire a doomed monster hunter. This one has waited all her life for a single answer. Give her that answer, and she will be ready to lay down her life. And of course, piling a port report. No one will speak. This is a challenge. Silently forthright. The exiles see many come, fewer leave. Some are even willing to communicate, but their gestures are unfamiliar, the meanings unclear. Even when you can understand, these are answers without questions, as useless as a key without a lock. The exiles do not speak, and the monkeys merely chatter grumpily. Still, there is information to be gleaned here. That's probably all we can do here currently. They do have some harborside provisioners. I'm not quite desperate enough to pay those prices just yet, so we'll be on our way. I think Wither is going to be just on the coast here if we keep going, and then we can head on down to Venderbite. I think that's going to be just fine if we can keep out of the way of the lifebergs. There's another one down here. Again, I don't know how well you guys are able to see the things on the periphery of the screen, but as long as they're on the periphery of the screen, I am frankly just fine with that. And there's Wither, real close by. There is usually a lifeberg between Wither and Venderbite, and that's what makes this area dangerous. Guess that one saw me. Yeah, 400 health on these things. And my ship is not so fast that I am not in danger. Wither, a chilly city beside a waste of salt. Behind the great arch over the bay, the pale wastes stretch, white and silent as the face of the moon. From here, you might almost imagine they were snow. North of the city, the salt pools fizz with unlikely color. So we got a few options here. Shore leave is a possibility, though our terror is honestly not that bad for the length of journey we've been on. The folk of Wither are quiet and sly and mystical. They subsist on cave fish and their dust-burrowing beasts of the waste. Their beer, however, is adequate. We can gather intelligence, which we'll certainly do. The citizens of Wither enjoy questions, so much so they always answer a question with another question. This can make intelligence gathering frustrating. Are you asking for any particular reason? At what time of day? Is that your at? Might it be 6? It could be 6. Eventually, you cobble together enough implication and supposition to compose a report. Why are there so many questions in Wither? And we could, of course, explore the town. Wither is a quiet, chilly town of gray stone and closed courtyards. People are neither exactly unfriendly nor exactly hospitable. They have the irritating habit of answering a question with a question. Here and there are odd sites tucked away, so we could do that. But let's check over here the House of the Question as well. It says, northwest of Wither Town, the House of the Question stands alone. Here the initiates of the house make offerings to the three gods of the deep sea, perhaps a fourth who is not a god. It's the one place in Wither where you can sometimes get a straight answer, for a price. Gaining the attention of a god is useful chiefly for lifting curses. So, we're going to ask about the drowned man. The initiates of the house are reluctant to speak of him, but you may be able to bribe them enough to gain a few tenuous snippets. Takes 100 echoes to ask about the drowned man, so we probably won't be doing it until we have a reason to. We can defy the gods, spit on the floor, curse the priests, overturn an altar. This will increase your hearts and iron by 5 each up to 110 and set your terror to 0, but you will never be able to remove any god's curse or benefit in other certain ways. So we're not going to do that currently, though, it's nice to have the option. So here we go to Wither. Let's explore the town. A walk by the shore. The black Z whispers on the beach. Another soft sound is audible above the waves. A castaway. A woman in an iridescent green gown waves vaguely from a rock near the shore. Sorrowful sighs waft across the water towards you. An idiot castaway? A mermaid? Of course not. Mermaids are a preposterous myth. We can approach. The poor woman won't answer your hails, but she's obviously in need of assistance. Or we can avoid her. She's probably a pirate or a drownie or someone's feral aunt. I will do a little bit of spoiling here. She is neither. She is the lure of a particularly awful type of anglerfish. So we're going to avoid her because I don't remember what the outcome of approaching her is, and I am frightened to make something go awry. So we've gained a memory of distant shores. Sad sighs pass. She waves languidly as you move down the beach. A ghost, an eccentric bather? You'll never know. Yeah, it's possible that wouldn't have had such a terrible outcome had we gone to investigate, but hoo boy, it is risky. So we can buy fuel for Z stories, which we have 2 of. But I don't think we're in desperate enough need of fuel. That's Fortune and Fortune, purveyors of white coke and Mutersalt, payment and stories. Can't get any Mutersalt right now. The Hunter's Cage. A sign reads, "Bones, please." The proprietor will sell you beast meat for stories, or buy your ivory. So again, we can buy supplies for Tales of Terror, of which we have 6, so we're a little bit wealthier in those. But again, we don't need them too terribly, and then you can sell a few things here if you have them. Anatomical cabinets, figurehead of the Eater of Names, a star shell. Did a judgment hatch from this grim relic, or was it something else entirely? Don't look too closely at the eye-hurting absence of color. And, of course, Stygian ivory, the black bones of Z-monsters make for startling corsets. So I think we're probably about done here. The question is going to be, how safely can we make our egress and head south to Venderbite, and then over to the Salt Lions? Let's find out. See if we can get around this Lifeberg here without attracting too much attention from the one that tends to patrol down here. Discovered Lifebergs of the Pale Haunt and a Censor's Arch. Try to stick close to shore for chart and Lifeberg reasons. It gives us a chance to look at some of the evocative and sometimes unsettling artwork of the western shore of the Untersee here. Let's see. Discovered Johannesson Town over here. Pickett's Bluff. get to Venderbite here in a moment. Dust, echoes, even a sepia tint to the air. These are the waters around the tomb colonies. Go, filling in our chart. Enjoying that. In my downtime, I have lately been playing Horizon Forbidden West. And that game has a base building mechanic in it. Not exactly the way I just made it sound. It's just you acquire a base, and as you progress through the story, you fill it with people and things. That is the only thing in video games that is perhaps more unaccountably compelling to me than filling in a map. Not checking icons off a map, you understand, but dispelling the fog of war on a map, as it were, is second only to having a base. So you can see why parts of this, tickle my brain. So, few die in fallen London. They come here instead to the tomb colonies, providing what we have promised. Wine, we don't have enough yet to deliver, but we'll be back with it when we have more. The map must be filled in. The achievements must be completed. I am, I admit, a little less motivated by achievements, and although I'm not immune to them, I can ignore them just fine. They don't whisper to me the way that bases and maps do. But yes, certainly I understand, and the map must indeed be filled in. So, the tomb colony of Venderbite. On deck, you can hear the sound that 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. It's something like the world's most restless concert audience, or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. We cannot yet do any of the submarine things. We will, do our best to acquire a submarine with this captain sooner than later. We can visit a certain little restaurant because we have a recommendation for it. Fine cuisine in Venderbite. Now that would be something. Don't need the dusty glass of wine. We can explore Venderbite or gather gossip for our port report. Let's go ahead and do that. Who's plotting what out in the tomb colonies? Along the coast of the Untersee, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a haul of complex clues, enough to keep your contacts in London interested. Tomb colonists fill their idle hours with conspiracy. Some of the conspiracies are of interest to London. I see Den has remarked that they are more susceptible to in-game achievements, collection or exploration kinds of checklisting, not so much like Steam achievement type things, which, yeah, I totally get. I guess when Steam or PlayStation Network or whatever tells me I'm close to getting all the achievements in a game, that's when, sort of my cataloging instinct kicks in. And up to that point, I kind of forget about them myself for the most part. One of the fun things about playing this game is that a lot of the achievements are quite rare. Not a lot of players have gotten a lot of the achievements, so you get little shiny borders and things for, pretty much just kind of like sticking with it and exploring what the game has to offer, which is kind of funny and pretty enjoyable. So let's see. That was probably not a good sound to make into the microphone. Sorry. Let's go to this little restaurant in Venderbite. A corkscrewed street. At the twisty tip of an odd little side street, welcoming yellow light glows from the gilt-lettered windows of a restaurant. A sign reads, Vengeance of Jonah, which is an excellent name for anything, especially a seaside restaurant. A beefy tomb colonist bustles up. A gray mustache pokes impertinently out from under his bandages. Come in, come in. A bandaged poissonnier at Venderbite seeks passage with a Z captain sympathetic to intrepid cuisine. and we have found the Vengeance of Jonah. And we lost a terror. Here we are at the Vengeance of Jonah. It's a cramped little place, but much better lit than most places in the tomb colonies. The scents of the dishes are multitudinous and extraordinary. Are they good? They might be. They might be good. It's difficult to tell. We could sample today's special. The food here is exceptional. You need not fear poisoning or boredom. Definitely not boredom. This is usually a more effective way of reducing terror than purchasing a dusty glass of wine, and will also reduce hunger. Matter of luck for 60 echoes. Well, we don't need to reduce hunger or terror, so we're going to leave that to one side. We can offer a strange catch. The Vengeance of Jonah is liberal in its approach to edibility. They will pay a small fee and return some of the material to you as supplies. We don't have one currently, but could come back this way for that. And we can recruit the Bandaged Poissonnier. The Bandaged Poissonnier has long wished to travel, but you'll need to outfit the galley to his exacting specifications. So we'll recruit him as a cook, and we will do that if we get the chance, but we won't do it right now because he is spendy. But I do like having him on the ship, and now we know where to find him. So, see, we can visit the Vengeance of Jonah whenever we would like. Our shops here. We can buy supplies and fuel. The Arcade of Sighs. Here, the solemn bandaged merchants of the colonies trade old, cold coins for brighter things. And, of course, cobwebbed harbors and antique stone. Again, kind of expensive here, and we don't need it. We also need to try to keep an eye on our cargo here. We need 20 if we're going to carry Sphinx stone. Hollow Temple. The image of a long-snouted reptile god still stands in the temple, but now storytellers gather here. So this is where we can sell a variety of our story type of goodies. Selling the recent news here is not usually a bad idea, but I may use it at Hunter's Keep. I don't know. We'll hang on to it just in case. It's 10 echoes, not a huge deal. And then the Charnel Lounge. Do you have tomb colonists? Drop them off here for payment. Technically passengers rather than goods, but you'd never know what to talk to them. And we don't have any tomb colonists, so we won't be dropping them off there. And that, I think, does it for the tomb colonies. So I think this is mostly going to be open water in the middle here. We'll explore the periphery later in this captain's career as necessary, but we'll try to clear out a couple of these on our way to the Salt Lions and then take stock and see if we want to go over to Gator's Morn or maybe down to Mo. Either way, we'll probably hit Hunter's Keep on our way back to London. And see how well we fared. We've spent quite a lot on provisions and fuel, in our voyages here, but we've also accomplished a fair bit since the last time that we set out from London. So, perhaps echoes well spent. Suppose time will tell. The abysses kind of unnerved me in the base game, but once you get a submarine, they are so much worse. This is an interesting game for me to enjoy so much because I am pretty iffy on caves generally and extraordinarily iffy on cave diving and subterranean waters. They kind of freak me out. A baked breeze rises, the improbable scent of stone out of some distant desert. You are close to the Salt Lions. The waves are cluttered with Z-Rack like drowned hair drifting. I don't know what just caught sight of us. Alcaius-class corvette. Could this be the pirate poet again? Certainly using a lot of flares. See if we can do pretty well in this fight. Yeah, by all means, keep using flares. They do turn quite a bit faster than we do, don't they? Man, getting the money to have a forward weapon and a deck weapon really changes the sort of pace and scale of combat in this game. Hopefully we'll find that out one day. I know I am far from the most efficient at making money in this. Maybe one of these captains I'll look up some guides and stuff. We'll see. You've defeated an Alcaius-class vessel, crippled, broken, already feeding the Z's endless hunger. Little remains of the ship but scraps of sinking cargo and a few buoyant parts of its splintered carcass. Let's investigate the wreckage. We'll have to be quick to salvage anything. You steer close, shining the lamp on the debris. Captain, quick! Over there, port side! There we go, the pirate poet! Woo! Didn't run into her last time when I named the stream after it, but after the event, but this time. The legendary clay woman corsair. She clings tight to the last few scraps of floating debris, defeated but defiant. Let's see. She fought well. She's earned that respect. Dinner with the enemy. With business dealt with, the pirate poet joins you and a few select members of the senior crew for a late supper. She treats the assembled audience to baptism of glass about her first days at sea after years of servitude. By demand, she follows it with shorter works and reforged, a cry for broken chains. Do not remember the voice that I gave her. I will try. In Polythreme, we are given our words. We are not allowed to hope they will be kind. In London, I learned to write my own, and in that moment I was free. One day, others of my homeland will read them, and they too will learn. One day, my king's dreams must end. Dinner follows. Hot wine and cold spiced meats. Sailors openly place bets on whether she actually eats. The pirate poet ignores them. Her stoic facade doesn't even quiver until dessert is served. At that, just for a moment, even she cannot hide a slight smile. Sorbet, Captain? She asks, eyelid raised. Don't make me tell folk you're even softer than they say. We have dined with the pirate poet. Yeah. Presumably its own reward. Only took a little bit of damage there. Not so terrible. And this neutral ship just kind of needs to get out of my way. All right. Let's head into Zealport and see what they've got for us. Looks like our fuel will not be so abundant that we can be profligate, but we can probably make it to Demo where they'll allow us to buy more. Here we go. Salt lions. There's a vast sorrow in their empty eyes. Two basalt beasts, cathedral-sized. They frown eternally at each other across the black waves. The north one carries an encampment. Creeping human figures eat away at its features like a rot, picking. There's a supply dock below. Let's see. So, we should have the cargo space. We do. Let's go ahead and compile a port report before we do anything else. Time, basalt, dissolution. Notes for the Admiralty. Record the activities of the unmakers, such as they are. Rite of stone and silence. Blow by blow, the scholars convert stone to secrets. And, let's visit the unmakers. Muscular pick-wielders rest on camp stools, watching you approach, passing hip flasks around. An unctuous overseer beckons you to sit. Funkel Tisan and tea cakes. We get funding from the bazaar, it's true, but Station 4, I wouldn't call it Station 4, it's a little grandiose. The stones are stuffed with secrets, but most of them are used as garden statuary or occult ballast. Most of them. Some go down places under the bazaar. More tea cakes. We've lost 5 terror, which is great, and gained a fragment. There aren't any shops here, but we can pay 200 echoes for some Sphinx stone, so let's go ahead and load up. The unmakers here reduce the salt lions to rubble 1 block at a time, help them in their work by carrying the rubble back to London. If the stones weep, an unmaker advises you, ignore them. Unless they flood your hold, of course. Then you should probably drop them overboard. Don't tell anyone I said that. The unmakers have smashed these sad and rubbly remnants off the flanks of a salt lion. A contact in London will purchase them. All right. So I think we can probably make it to Demo in the south before heading over to Hunter's Keep and down to, over, I suppose, more than down to London. We shall, if you'll pardon the very weak pun, Z. Also, I haven't brought this up, but we do have blessings, or I guess attention, at least, from all three of the gods of the Z. So we have a little bit of slack in our supplies. Not a lot, but some. So yeah, let's head straight on south to Demo Island and the Iron and Misery Company funging station, and then we'll head over. Depending on our fuel situation, we may give Hunter's Keep a miss. We don't need anything from it. And then back to Wolfstack. Here goes. The most successful captain I've ever had. Definitely the thing that I did wrong there was not pay very much attention to like the commerce aspect, the sort of like pure like trading this for that and, you know, buying low, selling high kind of aspect of the game. Because there does come a point where doing story content and exploration can't really keep you in fuel and supplies anymore. Late game, you get involved in like the power politics of the Untersee, and that can actually, whether on purpose or just you not being careful, result in like not being able to visit the Admiralty anymore and not have that little infusion of cash and fuel from your port reports. So yeah, I don't recommend being incautious with those things if you do play and get that far. Hello, Demo. Been waiting on that one for a minute, actually. My apologies. Laughter from the foredeck. Ah, the music, though. All right, here we are. Demo Island, a fervid forest of fungus. The Iron and Misery Company funging station. I&M has a funger operation here, felling giant bulligus shrooms for building materials, harvesting Kirili for its medicinal properties. It's a desperate little outpost of something like civilization. Up puffs the affable Factor. Oh, hello, Captain. Thank God for visitors. We'd go quite mad out here otherwise. Quite mad. How can we be of assistance? We can have tea with the Factor. We can explore the island. We can accept a volunteer for 1 echo. Gather supplies and compile a port report. I think we've done all of these things before. But let's compile a port report. The Admiralty likes to keep an eye on Iron and Misery's activities. The business of spores. Of course, I&M's activities here don't seem that interesting. Nevertheless, you record what you can. There we go. Honestly, accepting a volunteer doesn't sound like a bad idea because it'll put us at 9 out of 10. We won't really need to pick anyone up in London if we don't want to. One of the company's Bulligus fellers has negotiated an early release from her contract. It's the sproutlings, she tells you, her face pleading. I keep picking them out of me porridge, and me hair, and me eyes. Take me away, I'm a good worker. And so we shall. Signing up. You pay the release fee to the Factor, and your new Zailer settles in. Ready to Zail now? There we go. And we've had some mixed luck with gathering supplies, so perhaps we shan't currently. And I think I'll just grab 1 fuel for insurance here. Be a little bit parsimonious. with that, actually, let me check and see if we've been through Mutton Island on this particular round. Looks like we have, yeah. We've been to Mutton Island. Thought so. So we wouldn't get a port report from that. Man, what a voyage we've been on. Do have plenty left to find. So I guess we won't really get any benefit from going to Hunter's Keep, so we'll just head straight back to London and, you know, be glad we had a little bit of extra fuel just in case we needed it. What a voyage it has been. Glad to see my stats coming along a little too with my officers. I should at some point talk to them again and maybe get some spend some secrets. Thing is that you can use secrets as currency in Irem and, you know, for a couple other things, so I like to keep a little bit of a stash, but we have, with our high-ish pages score, gotten quite a few, and could maybe stand to start spending them. Home waters. Sailors dawdle at the rail, watching for the lights of London. Here we are. The sailor is praying. Here we go. Wolfstack Docks. If you are less familiar with the totality of the setting, one of the interesting things about Fallen London is that pre-fall street signs are contraband in the setting. The Revenue Men. Her Enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the Masters of the Bazaar. Today they have selected you for an inspection. Don't cheek them. Yep, and we don't have anything we need to worry about here, so we can just let them do their worst and nothing will change because we don't really have suspicion. So let's collect the messages from the Harbor Master. Something has changed in the Neath. Someone wants to sign on. And another day, a free evening. So, as usual, let's start with our oh, that's right. We have a revelatory chart that we can submit. I forgot about that. Let's see. We can ask if there's anything in particular that they need, since we don't have a commission currently. Speak to our agent in the Chelinet. Ooh, that's going to be a challenge. Chelinet challenge, I suppose. Far to the east. Yeah, we will do our best, Dark Spectacled Admiral, sir. Do we have what we need to make this into vital intelligence? Not yet. More mirrors, mostly. 6 more mirrors, specifically. So we will, hold on to our strategic information because vital intelligence can be created this way. And I think we can afford to hold on to it currently. As for the revelatory chart, they're not super easy to come by, and I don't know what else off the top of my head we might be able to do with them. So I can sit on it until we get desperate, I think. Yeah, let's submit some port reports and go from there. It's been a minute since I read the flavor in some of this, so the Admiralty Survey Office. The Admiralty's picket fleets and intelligence networks are long gone. The Survey Office pays Z captains a small sum for recent information. Mount Palmerston. The Brimstone Convention. They trouble me, Captain. There we go. We got 40 echoes, 1 favor, Admiralty's favor, and 1 fuel. Port Cecil. The principles of coral. no idea why anyone thought that settlement was a good idea. 30 echoes, 1 fuel. Venterbite. What have the nearly dead been up to then? 10 echoes. Whither? I refuse to ask any questions. I don't want to give them the satisfaction. 20 echoes, 1 fuel. Nuncio. Ah, yes. The place that lures away postmen. One hears no end of complaints from the postal services. 30 echoes, 1 fuel. Pigmoat Isle. I'm not certain I heard you correctly. Report submitted. Are you quite certain this is the report you wish to make? So be it. 10 echoes, 1 fuel. They don't particularly like hearing about Pigmoat. Which tells you everything you need to know about military types. Chapel of Lights. There's something about the Untersee that breeds heresy and dissent. I think we might need to send the Bishop of Southwark out for a good bit of Christian shouting. Go. 20 echoes and then 1 fuel. Avid Horizon. I hope you intend to tell me that everything is quiet there. Oh, our hold is a little too full. Dang, should have thought about that. Ugh. Well, I mean, I guess we'll give up 1 fuel. That was dumb. Well, we shall go turn in our Sphinx Stone before we do anything else. That would have been a good thing to think about. Live and learn, I suppose. 10 echoes and 1 fuel for the Avid Horizon. Oh no, a visit from Mr. Sachs. I didn't see that before. Ugh. All right, let's get rid of that Sphinx Stone first. Deliver Sphinx Stone to a smiling woman in an eloquent jonquille gown. Places a gloved hand on your arm. Are you waiting for the ministry men? They won't be coming, but I have a proposition for you. Bright gown, bright hair. Her skin glows with health. Her smile is wise and merciless. The bright-eyed sequencer. That stone's full of old memories. The bazaar has been drinking them. She nods at the spires that loom over London, the dark limbs that sprawl through the streets. I have a better destination. Help us bring light here below, and we will reward you. Reward you richly. And we can accept rich reward, light, those are happy words, or refuse. Those bright eyes, the unmistakable mark of the Dawn Machine. None understand the Dawn Machine, but all fear it. Who knows what its motives are, or hers? This game does a very good job at tempting you because I know at least a little about the Dawn Machine that the game has to say about it, and I'm still tempted to accept because, well, rich reward is a happy word. But I think that we're playing Toe Heel so far in a reasonably sort of cautious, principled way, so let's have our captain refuse here and take our lumps. A bright and brittle smile. Not an admirer of progress, I see. Well then, keep your stone, keep your memories. None so blind as those who will not rise. You've refused to deliver Sphinx Stone to the Grand Geode. The uses of the stone are mysterious. Where must you take it? Yeah, I don't mind not having to visit the Grand Geode for this. So we now have a couple of things here. A dusty gentleman. Captain, wait. She gave you an errand, didn't she? She serves a certain power, a bright one, but not a friendly one. I have a counter-proposal. Will you listen? And a dusty gentleman. Captain, a moment. You turned her down, didn't you? That was wise. The power she serves is no friend to London or to the bazaar. I have a proposal of my own. Will you listen? I don't know what the distinction here is going to be. Last time I was hauling Sphinx Stone, I think I did give her what she wanted. Remember when I said I lost access to the Admiralty? Wasn't an immediate effect, but an eventual one of that. So let's see. This is available when we've either agreed to take this lasso to Sphinx to the Grand Geode or we refuse to take it to the Grand Geode. This one is only available when we refuse to take it to the Grand Geode. So I guess let's do this one instead. Tired eyes, sallow skin. He stoops like a clerk and coughs like a miner, but that frock coat is of the finest fabric and newest cut. I guess I should change up his voice a little bit. I had him sounding kind of youthful and energetic there. So, my name is Penstock, he says. Penstock's plea. The bazaar has been feasting on old memories from the salt lines. It only makes her more melancholy, and that's worse for all of us, but especially those who love her. So we found another use for the Sphinx Stone. We can set something right. We can accept his commission, take it far away, we'll tell you where, you'll be paid. If you've already arranged with the bright-eyed sequencer to take it to the Grand Geode, this will cause you to renege. Or we can reject his plea. He smells of ammonia and sadness. You should go somewhere that does not smell of those things. Interesting. I don't know what I would be able to do with this massive haul of Sphinx Stone if I don't do his thing here. And I don't think I've done his thing here before. So let's give it a go. Let's accept his commission. I'm grateful. Here. He presses a crumpled note into your hand. This is where you should take it. You'll learn something, I think. I had to seek the Master's help for this. We will all be enmeshed in their plans, but it's worth it. I swear it's worth it. He grips your arms and is gone. You unfold the note. Deliver the Sphinx Stone to Iram in the east, the place where things become real. Well, that's a journey, and it means that we currently have just a bunch of Sphinx Stone in our hold. So I guess let's look to sell some Scintillac and maybe some Parabola Linen, things that we will need more of eventually, but that we don't have pressing need for now, and that come at a fair profit. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that and hope we don't need it soon. I think I'll probably also hold on to the wine if I can. I think I'll probably also do a quick round of conversations with my officers to see if I need to purchase anything while I'm here at Wolfstack Exchange. Let's see what Mr. Sachs wants. A visit from Mr. Sachs. Midnight. A present dominates your lodgings. Its fur-trimmed robe is the red of blood on snow. Over your chair hangs a familiar brown sack bulging with offerings. Londoners give generously to the crimson beast of winter. Anything to be rid of it. The figure stares into the fireplace, smelling of soft musk and harsh ammonia. Boy, how to voice Mr. Sachs. I require a sturdy vessel and a captain. Yours comes recommended. You will suffice. So we could say, Mr. Sachs, take my service, an ancient contract, words not to be spoken lightly. You may wish to wait until you've explored the main trading ports around London before doing this. Or, Mr. Sachs, take your leave. You will not be intimidated in your own lodgings. There is no penalty for this. You'll be able to accept this contract later, at a later time of your choosing. Boy, I feel like we have explored most of the trading ports. There might be one or two, particularly the Carnelian Coast, but I don't know if that's around London, perhaps. It's one of them. It's mostly always in the same place, though, so yeah, let's go ahead and offer Mr. Sachs our service. A deal is struck. The beast withdraws its hand from the fireplace, examining it. Packed lacquer, neath snow. It disappears back into the incarnadine robe. 3 deliveries by your release. Do not tarry. You have much to lose. Hopefully my voice is not so creaky that I'm inaudible when I'm doing Mr. Sachs here. But Mr. Sachs has boarded your ship. Ugh. The Crimson Beast of Winter lurks in your hold, and you are in service of Mr. Sachs. Take too much time, and he may take you. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a ticking clock now, but I remember being pretty fond of this content. Not that I have a very clear memory of it, but... Let's see. Roser's Wharf doesn't have anything that we can really do currently. Labyrinth of Tigers, nothing in particular. London itself. Let's use our new recruit thing here. Engage a Zailer for 5 echoes. Yeah. What a desperate desire has led this one to sign on. Who cares? They're very keen. Consequently, they're cheap. Let's do it. Lost 1 terror. Gained 1 crew. No more recruits await us at the moment. So I think those port reports that we have left to do are the only thing still going here. Gosh, we've got enough of them that I'm kind of worried about our hold space again. We've got 4 currently. We may end up having to sell that wine despite kind of trying to hold on to it. Oh, interesting. The Crimson Beast of Winter lurks in your hold. Engine power plus 2,000. Fuel efficiency plus 25. Huh. That's fascinating. Does that expire, do we think? I can't like click and drag him into my ship so he doesn't get equipped. Huh. Alright, well let's get our 4 fuel from port reports. Make sure that Irem is one of them since we know we're going back that way. Irem. Oh god, what tense is it written in? Oh god. Look, just read it to my colleague here. He'll give you your fee. I'll be over here when you're done. 20 echoes. Favors fuel. Frost found. Dang, yeah, we have too many port reports for our cargo space. Is it as beautiful as they say? I doubt it. Poets are notorious liars, but liars make bad poets. Paradox, isn't it? Never mind. Your report? 30 echoes. Let's see. Codex. Exiled for giving answers. That's Wither for you. Anything new? And Khan's Shadow, I think, is a pretty profitable one here. So, let's see. Oh, these are always fun. Come on, let's hear it. Other officials gather around to hear your tales of bloodshed and debauchery and the jokes about the Khan that the Shadow produces so efficiently and so entertainingly. The one about the Khan and the donkey produces a roar of patriotic laughter and encourages the deputy recorder to unlock the departmental drinks cabinet. 30 echoes, 1 fuel. Right, because it gives you a reduction to your terror. Let's see. Just 1 more, that's what I thought. Just 1 more. I think the only new one here is going to be Codex. Oh, well, and Wisdom probably. So yeah, let's do that. And then... Man, just having a bunch of Sphinx Stone in your hold is rough, because now I can't even buy any more supplies unless I sell my wine. So I guess I'm selling my wine. Didn't really want to sell my wine, but that's okay. It is very cheap to buy if you need it, as these things go. So, and the liquidity won't go amiss. How many more port reports do we have? 4. Yeah, I still can't do all of them, and I do need to buy some supplies. So let's talk to our officers, see what if anything they need. Yeah, the wrong kind of liquid asset. Right. So he wants to go to the Chapel of Lights, which in turn wants, I think, 2 strange catches from us. Our chief engineer, let's invite him to dine with us. His tastes are Spartan. He eats little, drinks only water, barely sleeps at all, so you need only lay a simple table. Just 1 supplies. An appeal. Thanks for the meal and the company. No wine, it makes me sleepy. Oh yes, I can sleep. Too easily, that's the problem. He hesitates. There's a draught I take nightly to substitute for sleep. It works well enough and keeps me sane and upright, but I wish I could enjoy just 1 night's sleep if you'll help me. We need a clayman from Polythreme. We'll need a mirror catch box, and we'll need to go to Hunter's Keep. I'll explain when we get there. I'm serious. I would owe you a great deal. So we know where to find mirror catch boxes in the Khanate, and claymen come from Polythreme, so once we have the liquidity, we'll help him out. And then go to Hunter's Keep and see what it is that he desires of us there. Let's see. Inviting her to dine with us again takes coffee. And, okay, we do have that. So we can buy some coffee. But iron's pretty low. So it's also difficult to increase without, taking wounds. So we may hold off on that. The clattery air. We need a live specimen to talk to her further. Let's see. The irrepressible cannoneer. We would need 5 torpedo parts and 5 supplies, which again, I don't know that we have space in our hold for currently, so we'll have to hold off on that, unfortunately, even though it would be very convenient to do it now, but we'll have to drop off the Sphinx Stone in Irem first. And we would need Mutersalt, right, which we had the opportunity to buy, but it was a little pricey for us, so we're going to see if we can't come across it a different way. Okay, so nothing right away. The Hunter's Eye, I forgot about that. All right, let's get... Got 4 hold, I guess. 2 fuel and 2 supplies would do us pretty well. I guess supplies are dearer out on the Z than fuel is, so maybe we'll go the other way. We'll just lay in supplies. They will be going a little faster since we're full crew. We'll be eating through them a bit more. Yeah, let's buy the supplies for 20 each. There we go. Don't think we're going to be doing anything else here just now. Not being able to drop off the Sphinx Stone. Yeah, I kind of remembered that was a thing, but I thought it was a little further off. Doesn't matter so much. Let's see what Mr. Sachs is going to need. The Crimson Beast of Winter lurks in your hold. This is not a healthy situation for you, your ship, or your crew. We can end our service unamicably for a secret, or the creature calls for you. It is time to begin. A hunger that can never be satiated. Mr. Sachs is waiting, clutching what looks like a leg of lamb. The meat is rotten, the bone is well chewed. A fool sought a name that devours. It devoured him. A lifetime's wealth wasted on cravings that can never be satiated. When all was eaten, he stripped the meat from his fingers in search of solace. Still the hunger gnawed and screamed in his belly. He thought this pitiful offering of poison might free him. Debts are not so easily paid. So we can head to Pigmoat Isle or Khan's Heart for this one. I'm thinking probably Khan's Heart because it's going to be more on the way to Irem and Pigmoat. We'd want to have the cargo space to carry stuff that might help them. Is, I think, our main idea here. So we've been given our first delivery, and I believe we'll be going to Khan's Heart for it. We are full up, and I think all we really might want to do is rest. Tentacles. And we didn't use our recent news, so we actually won't get anything from that. So the only thing I really need to understand is if I hit use on this. Yeah, all right. That's just the conversation. We can't appoint him as an officer. He doesn't have a place where he gets, like, put. Man, I am all kinds of confused. Okay. Well, torpedo components don't actually take up space. So, hang on. Let me talk to the irrepressible cannoneer again. He wants 5 supplies and 5 torpedo parts. So I could buy some torpedo parts and go ahead and do this. Oh boy, it's a lot of fuel though. Yeah, I'm going to wait until I'm richer. All right. So let's take a look at our chart. So Pigmoat's there. Khan's Heart is here. I think we'll go Mutton, Demo, Abbey, Shepherd Isles, Khan's Heart. Maybe we'll skip Mutton Island. It's just kind of a little bit of a detour, and we are in a little bit of a hurry. If we draw a straight line to Khan's Heart, we do pass by at least Demo and Abbey Rock. Maybe we'll even skip Shepherd Isles. I just don't want Mr. Sachs to get mad at us, you know? That seems dangerous. So, and that'll put us, you know, on the path up to Irem, and maybe even over toward the Chelanet is usually in this furthest east spot. Though whether it is going to be in the northerly part is up to anyone's guess. So yeah, let's attempt at least to be efficient here and just kind of head straight on. Yeah, I really can't tell what, if anything, Mr. Sachs might be doing. I mean, it says fuel efficiency and engine power. Yeah, you don't say. I haven't really done the assay thing before. That's an interesting... I guess it's a really good way to figure out what kind of your options are. I guess I can't really tell if I'm going, you know, that much faster as engine speed would account for, but it seems like we are. Things seem to be moving pretty quickly, so I guess maybe Mr. Sachs is a passive bonus. So yeah, our fuel is depleting pretty precipitously because of the more than doubling, the more than tripling of our engine power, but slower than it would because of the efficiency bonus, I think. One thing I learned the hard way when I had a very, very powerful engine is that traveling faster means you sometimes have to just dither until your something awaits you in port triggers, because it's just it's not a distance traveled thing, it's a time elapsed thing. that triggers that. All right, I&M. We already read this recently. We don't have a volunteer. Let's see. I think probably Tea with the Factor is the way to go here. He talks a fair bit here. Not sure if this is one we've seen because he told us about the bandage poissonnier last time, so I'll read it. An interlude. You sit on the veranda of the factor's house, looking out over the fungal jungle, an expanse of green and sour gold. The air is thick with hovering spores. The scones are stale. Even the tea has a hint of mildew, but the factor is good company. He shares odd stories about the Gant Pole, where monsters swarm, about the seductions of the principals of coral, the infestation at Featherhaven. He also has a load of Bolagus frond carted aboard your ship. He waves away your thanks. I've eaten so much of this stuff, I might be transformed entirely into fungus. He leans confidentially towards you. It happens, you know, but one does have to eat rather a lot of it first. So, lost a little terror, gained a little bit of supplies, well worth the stop. We don't need anything else, so here we go. On our way to Abbey Rock, and then to Khan's Heart to deliver the upsetting thing that Mr. Sachs has in mind for us. We'll see where else he wants us to go and whether or not Irem comes first or, not. This is a cheat that I figured out and kind of forgot to use is if on your chart you place your mouse cursor on the place you want to go without like clicking and dragging it around, you can orient your ship toward it and you will be headed in precisely the correct direction to arrive at your destination. Not always useful for clearing the black spots on your chart, but useful for finding the most straight line efficient route. Also, obviously not always useful for avoiding the notice of things in the Z, but here we are just doing pretty alright. Luminescent beasts play it like eyeless dolphins in your wake. A fog bank. Go. The Sisterhood. Here, the Grim Sisters' lair. A black spit of an island far from anywhere anyone would want to go, and that's how the Sisterhood likes it. Here stands their fortress convent. There are bear traps that look friendlier than this. So let's compile a port report. As always, nothing is happening. The sisters watch us. We feel their eyes. The sea crashes on the rocks, withdraws. The fortress stands stolid as the last year of a century. The greatest peril you risk here is a certain purpleness of prose. The nuns endure. We could use our recent news. We could watch for a moment, which I think perhaps we shall do. Wait a while and see. Exotic refuse. The convent is silent. A few lights prick its bulk. The bells sound the times of prayer. You're almost ready to give up when a side door opens. 4 nuns march out, carrying something wrapped in a blanket and fling it into the sea. You creep down to examine it. It was likely unidentifiable even before the nuns used it for weapons practice. Now, it leaks fluid from a dozen puncture wounds, but it still smells of the Z, which gave us a strange catch, which we do need. Oh, hello, Draskarice. Welcome. You, missed, I think if I didn't miss you for quite a while here, we are in the service of Mr. Sachs. The Crimson Beast of Winter lurks in our hold. This is not a healthy situation for you, your ship, or your crew. And we have been given the first delivery, which makes a reference I think that you will appreciate here. We're trying to go to Khan's Heart or Pigmote Isle, a hunger that can never be satiated. Mr. Sachs is waiting, clutching what looks like a leg of lamb. The meat is rotten, the bone is well chewed. A fool sought the name that devours. It devoured him. A lifetime's wealth wasted on cravings that can never be satiated. When all was eaten, he stripped the meat from his fingers in search of solace. Still, the hunger gnawed and screamed in his belly. He thought this pitiful offering of poison might free him. Debts are not so easily paid. And I just thought that you might like to hear that in particular. A reckoning that cannot be indefinitely postponed. Indeed. Indeed. So, I don't think we have anything else we need our recent news for, so perhaps they'll find it valuable. Brief attention. The muscular prioress, the abbess's lieutenant, comes to the door to listen. She nods and makes notes. She pays particular attention to news of marsh beast predations and the traffic of the rooftops. In return, she offers a rather perfunctory blessing, but the blessing reassures your crew. Perhaps not the best use of recent news, but since we aren't likely to stop at Hunter's Keep anytime soon, I don't have anything in particular in mind for it. So, I think we are probably just fine here to head onward to Khan's Heart. Since I don't think Draskarias was here to see it, Mr. Sachs does in fact just sit in your hold, and he gives you plus 2,000 engine power and plus 25% fuel efficiency while he's there, because he is in a hurry, and he wants you to be aware of the hurry that he is in. And so, yeah, it makes you go quite a bit faster, but it does deplete your fuel more than the bonus makes up in fuel efficiency. Yeah, Zale the Z in one night. Let's see. Ooh. Is this Station 3? This is Station 3. Goodness. It is further south than I have ever seen it. This is a wild chart, you guys. But I will not miss my opportunity to put it on my chart. We are also headed back to Irem with our last load of Sphinx Stone. Station 3. We may infer a Station 1 and a Station 2. We may conjecture a Station 4. Station 3. Machinery hums behind high steel walls. Up the hill there are visible outlines of warehouses and a building with a spire. But the lamps are low where they burn at all, and your ship the only one in harbor. Oh man, I had forgotten that we picked up the student early on. We can do a couple of things here. So first off, train your telescope on the shore. Might be best to get a look from a distance. So let us survey Station 3. Church or something else? You stand on the high point of your ship and look to the shore. There's a steepled building on the horizon, by far the largest thing in sight. No cross marks the top of it, nor any other symbol you recognize. We have, on the very edge of London's influence, curious matters are conducted. And then, of course, we have deliver the Lorn Fluke and observe the student's experiment. He is terribly excited and requests your steadying presence to ensure he maintains the appropriate scientific detachment. It has been a minute since we picked up this assignment, I think on the Shepherd Isles. I didn't even remember that we had done it with this captain, but here we are. After careful setup, the shed is empty, save a writing desk and a gigantic mass of needles. The anxious student snaps off the tip of one and twirls it between his fingers. I hypothesize that the flukes have a method of absorbing and storing our lived experiences. It follows, therefore, that there should exist a means of transmitting, reliving the experience, like so. He stabs the needle through his palm, his eyes dull. You heard Captain Eris, sailor? Zayla. Target the Ogadai and fire torpedoes. And if you hit one of the Lorn Flukes, then by God and Her Majesty I will put you out of the airlock and let the spiny bastards take you. He awakes from the reverie a moment later, beaming. That would do. Pass me your notes. I'll carry on the experiment from here. I witnessed history. It is rare something so awful washes up on shore, and got 2 extraordinary implications for a total of 4. How can such a thing be? Who but you could understand what it means? Goodness. So we don't have a long box. The only way past the walls is an unimposing but sturdy-looking triple-locked gate of silvery metal. A sign beside it reads Deliveries. The gate stands open if we have a long box, which we do not. But we can try the gate for a little bit of flavor. The only way past the walls is an unimposing but sturdy-looking gate of triple-barred silvery metal. A sign beside it reads Deliveries. No way in. The metal is steel hard and icy cold to the touch. Attempts with chisels and crowbars fail. Perhaps you could bring the ship's guns to bear, but no. If you return with a certain delivery, the gate will be opened. You'll know if you find it. No shops here, no shipyard, no nothing. But we picked up our port report, and we can be on our way, charting our course. I am very happy to have found another of the missing stops among the Z. Porcelain Quarter, trying to avoid war trimarans as I head into Khan's Heart here. Hopefully I don't need, to be friendly with them in order to deliver Mr. Sax's awful burden here. Otherwise, I guess we're going to Pigmote. And it seems kind of terrible to inflict Pigmote with this kind of nonsense. Go. I have on several captains before gotten enough favor to trade in Khan's Heart, but man, it takes a minute. And we don't have our something awaits you because we went a little too fast, so not too much going here. Yay, I don't need to do too much. And try to get a port report, I guess. Don't know that we'll see. We'll do our homework first. A delivery for Mr. Sachs. This is far enough from London. It will suffice. Pigmote was indeed where the Capybus runs. Yes, we helped the rats set up the Republic of Marinia in defiance of the wishes of the Cavies serving King Graysnaw. A hunger that can never be satiated. The Copper Quarter pulses as the feast rages on. Its people gorge themselves too quickly to taste the food on their lips. Their cheeks bulge and stomachs swell, but still they eat. The white and golds wade in to silence the growing mob before it can escalate further, or set its sights on the royal food stores. We completed our first delivery. Take too much time and he may take you. We've gained Kaganian suspicion, which I probably should have inferred would happen. And we got 10 drowning pearls, which is nothing to sneeze at. Still chilly from the fingers of drownies. Anyway, that seems, unpleasant. Let's see what our second delivery is. The creature calls for you once again. A prize that became a curse. Mr. Sachs produces a jeweled bird. The thief thought it would bring her riches. Perhaps it would. But when the gracious widow and the cheery man both covet what you stole, mere money ceases to be a concern. To offend one or make an enemy of the other, she sought a third way, a moment of inspiration that came too late. We want no part in this feud. Settle it. So, we can take this to the Isle of Cats to favor the widow, or to the cheery man's agent on Mutton Island. You do typically gain Kaganian suspicion by them just being aware that you exist. That is true, Den. And, boy, Isle of Cats and Mutton Island. We don't have the Isle of Cats on our chart just yet. It's usually somewhere in like this vicinity, just kind of general southern mid-range. which is kind of not where we want to go, but we're also trying to get to Irem before we head back to Mutton Island. That would be, boy, this is going to be kind of a tough one. Let's see what else we might be able to do in Khan's Heart. Probably not a ton, honestly, but what are we looking for? I mean, we have to drop off some Sphinx Stone in Irem, and we need to take the second delivery from Mr. Sachs to either Mutton Island for the Cheery Man or the Isle of Cats for the Gracious Widow. Is sort of the stuff that we're structuring this voyage around currently. At the very least, with Irem, we can kind of discover some stuff as well as stop in. We do need a Clayman and a mirror catch box for Port Cecil is quite south and east for this is definitely the most atypical chart I've ever gotten in for a captain in Sunless Sea. I think once I've seen Frostfound this close to Wither, but it'd be much more typical for it to be like Wither, Codex, Ragged Crow, Palmerston, Chapel of Lights, Frostfound, Irem. Generally speaking, for me, Port Cecil has been closer to where like Godfall and Gators Morn are, a little bit more central. I have had it be super far east, but still further north. Both at once is very strange. Sunless Tyraxian Sea. Yeah, Godfall is one of those, to Drask's point, that I've had pop up in a lot of places. Certain of the ports seem to be able to show up almost anywhere. Gators Morn I would usually have further south. Pigmoat Isle I usually have further south. Godfall I've seen in a variety of places. Polythreme is usually further south. Shepherd Isles kind of can be almost anywhere. Demo I've usually seen further east. There's a lot of kind of variety here that is perhaps at the edge of the range where it can fall. So let me see what else I might want to do in Khan's Heart. Probably not a ton. If I were to guess. I don't like my chances. I don't have the networks that I need. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone until I am better resourced for Khan's Heart. So we're going to go to Khan's Shadow for a mirror catch box. I think we'll be able to afford all of it. I don't want to make Mr. Sachs wait. This is terrible. I mean, the only urgency to get to Irem is to clear out 20 space in our hold, which is like not nothing. But then I don't want to stop too often and make Mr. Sachs mad. I guess we could gamble on being able to find the Isle of Cats, but that also takes us further from Irem as well. Ugh. Quite a quandary. I mean, we're already halfway to Irem. It feels so dumb to then not go the rest of the way. So Khan Shadow, Port Cecil, Polythreme, Nuncio, Irem. At the very least, Khan Shadow and Polythreme. Actually, did we turn in our Port Cecil report? I don't think we did. No, we did. We have wisdom, which we don't need to revisit. Mutton Island, I guess we'll be back for anyway, even though we weren't planning on it. We won't be back to the Salt Lions this time. Just trying to make sure I don't repeat anything. So yeah, we'll do kind of all of these ending up in Irem, maybe try to loop down to the Chalanet and then over to Mutton Island and hope that Mr. Sachs does not get mad at us. Which, you know, who can say? Need to buy some fuel and supplies at some point too, of course, but we are working within half of our available hold space thanks to the Sphinx Stone that we were unable to sell in London. Ooh. Well, I did say in the title of the stream, things have been going well enough that it's worrying, and now we are in a little bit of a pickle. A pickle, to be sure, of my own making, but a pickle nonetheless. Here we are, Khan's Shadow. Love to have something awaits you in port, but one of the things about moving fast is that you don't always get it before you arrive. Compile a port report. Check the shops. That is a good point, Trask. It is more risk than doom. We're not, you know, not so terrible off. We don't have an aft for that, even if we had the yeah, the mirror catch box full of very angry dream snakes is great. The Finger Kings do not like being in there, and I guess I can't fault them. Currently, we only need the one mirror catch box, which is great because they are very expensive, and does take up space in the hold, as does our strange catch. So yeah, we're just really pushing our capacity here. The rest, I think, we'll buy in fuel. So our supplies have lasted pretty well so far, and they're, you know, a little more dear. All right. So I think I'm actually going to skip Port Cecil this time. I do slip and call it Port Cecil sometimes. And actually, for just a moment here before I do get on a move on, I'm going to be throwing to the Be Right Back. So enjoy these tunes, and we'll be back very shortly. All right, we are back. Just had to investigate a suspicious noise in my vicinity. All is well. And we will presently be off to Polythreme. Here goes. I am hoping that I made it to Khan's heart quickly enough that Mr. Sachs will be a little bit on the patient side. Also hoping that this fog bank will keep me from having to fight this war trimaran. Spoke too soon. Though with Mr. Sachs on our side, I think I can probably outpace it. There we go. Just waiting for the... Well, you guys would have heard Fluke's Fathoms while I was up, so, you know. If you hear that again, don't be alarmed. That's just what Polythreme sounds like sometimes. We hear those voices that will not be drowned. This is the Sea of Voices. We are close to Polythreme, where nothing is truly dead. And indeed, here we are. Here is screaming. Taciturn claymen, evasive closed colonies, walking like humans, cobbles that groan underfoot, on the hills above a palace villa of marble, but even that writhes like buried bones in an earthquake. So let's get our port report. King with 100 hearts rules from his palace above the city. He is never seen. He makes no treaties with other lands, but there's unrest in the air. The claymen you speak to are obedient and humble, but they speak nervously of those who are not, the maimed, the rebellious, the unfinished. The city cries out. Gonna not do shore leave. We can carry claymen to London. Are they passengers or cargo? They're certainly the easiest passengers imaginable, unless one turns out to be an unfinished man. We don't have the cargo space for that currently, but we can go over here to We Are Clay, which actually, shoot, Clayman marked for London. I came here to get a Clayman for the tireless mechanic. But it occurs to me I don't actually know. I think we actually would need the space to grab the Clayman bound for London. I don't think he can use the We Are Clay item. I might actually look this up real quick. Because I have done this part, but it's been years. And yeah, I kind of want to just make sure that if I could buy the equipment and have it work, that I, don't mess it up by doing the other thing. So let's see. Search up on my phone here, which is actually turning out to maybe be less efficient because of thumb typing. But in the meantime, hope you guys enjoyed a couple of renditions, I guess you could call it, of Fluke's Fathoms there. And we're just gonna, I guess, hang out here in Polythreme. It's a great place to hang out. Let's see. That's definitely not doing it. Searching, 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 searching. This is actually a little less easy to do than I thought, so we will leave it for another time when we have the space, because I don't want to waste 300 echoes on something I can't actually equip, I don't think, on this ship. I could equip it at least. I would be getting rid of crew, and there's a lot here that I would like to be more certain of if I were to go forward with it. So we will make a quick trip up to Irem, and then I guess try and figure out our optimal route back to Mutton Island, because I don't want to take too long, unless of course the Isle of Cats is in a really weird place too, and we end up finding it kind of on accident on our way, which is not impossible given the way this chart is set up. So here we go. Sorry for the delay there while I unsuccessfully looked things up. I will try to figure out when I am rid of this Sphinx Stone, what I might be able to do in building the serpent trap there. Scuttering and chittering in the corners of the hold, humped shapes on the deck rail, ratsy air emboldens vermin. Whatever else we might say about Mr. Sachs here, he is at least helping us to go fast. Which I appreciate. We will try not to spend too much time in Nuncio, being well aware of Mr. Sachs's impatience. That music. Here we go. Don't know what that was, but we've made it. Let us assemble a port report. I believe this is the same as the last time, so it's in the VODs if we want to hear what the port report there has to say. Don't think I've got anything else going. I may pay through the nose for like a thing of supplies just to keep ourselves topped off. And then on to Irem through the unexplored territory. Unlike at the end of last stream of this and beginning of this one, I'm not making it a priority to fill in the darkness here because I am feeling the urgency. I don't know how it calculates how impatient Mr. Sachs is getting, but I don't want to tempt fate, and I know that it is not an idle threat. If you take, in fact, too long, he does get cross. You do get some warning, which is good, but if you're on the other side of the Z, that may or may not help you very much. And now we enter the calumnies. There is a wild and glorious scent in the air, and a kind of light. Why do sailors fear this place? Oh, I fear it. The Azakoric Abyss. I fear that too. Do like this tunes though. Blue lightnings crawl leisurely up the funnel. Saint Erasmus dancing! The cry goes up. We discovered Nablus Reef. Strange puffs of warmth from the air behind the ice. This is the pillared sea where Irem will lies, has always lain. Draskarice, I think you missed when we were turning in our Irem port report, but the Admiralty official who was taking our report was in dread of what tense it was in and shuffled the work off onto someone else. Okay. You don't need anything, but here... Right, I didn't bring any coffee again. Deliver Sphinx Stone for Penstock. A rubbly gap will yawn in the dock's edge. Riddle fishers in sunset-colored robes will wait for you. Here, one will say, as your sailors stagger up with blocks of stone. This has been waiting for you. So here we are, delivering 20 Sphinx Stone for Penstock. A perfect fit. Your Sphinx Stone fragments match the breach in the dock exactly. Something was stolen, a riddle fisher will inform you. Now something else has been unstolen. There's a gap in your understanding. I will help you fill it. She will lean forward and whisper to you. This is the nature of Irem. It is the beach where history comes to rest. This is how riddles are born. One day we will ask another captain where that stone was born. That is your riddle, and here is your secret. She will hand you a scrap of pine bark. It bears the answer to a riddle that has not yet been asked. So we gained pages, a secret, delivered our last load of Sphinx Stone, regained Salt's attention, not that we didn't have it before, and got 1,000 echoes for this. Yeah, sorry I fell a little behind on the chat there, but thank you, Dan. It needs to be the claim end marked for London. We may actually pick those up on our way back, I guess, now that we have the space for it. We can let him make his serpent trap. The first step in him getting a good night's sleep. All right. Anything else? We'll go ahead and compile our report in Irem. You'll record what you will have seen. When you will sit down to write the report, you will recall that it was written already. Who wrote it? The report records that. It was already written when it was found. Who found it? The report describes another report, which will indicate the name of the finder. Where is the other report? There is a footnote which describes when you will record its location. When will that be? When all is well, and all matter of things shall be well. And of course the shops of Irem. Always something anyway. We probably should resupply a little bit here. And maybe grab another strange catch for the Chapel of Lights. We're pretty close to it. That might be a good idea. Again, I don't want to tempt fate, but also, you know. How many secrets have we got by now? 24. Doing pretty well on secrets. Well, let's see. Strange catch for the chapel. Some supplies. Some fuel. I think we're all right on everything else. We are almost to the point where we could buy a Searing Enigma. They're kind of dangerous. I know they can be used as part of getting just an absurd amount of money. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll jump right on over to the Chapel of Lights. We won't head south for the Chalinet since we're already this far up. I think maybe Chapel of Lights, Palmerston for fuel, Godfall Gator's Mourn. Yeah, Mutton Island is just across stuff that we've already visited on this trip. And going back to Polythreme would help us get what we need. So Yeah, indeed. You can't buy the Searing Enigmas with echoes. You can buy the extraordinary implications that allow you to make a buy a Searing Enigma here for echoes, but not directly. All right. I think. Oops, not what I meant to do. There we go. I think we've got our plan, at least until Mr. Sachs has something to say about it, of heading to the Chapel of Lights. We're going to skip Avid Horizon. It's only like a 10 echo port report. I mean, the fuel is nice, but we're going to try to be as efficient as we can here. While still getting what we need, of course. Hope everybody's doing well this Monday evening. Odd and late time for just a sociable little stream here, but also has already been lovely. The opposite of lovely. Here we are at the Chapel of Lights. I think it's been maybe 4 days since our last delivery in game, so hopefully Mr. Sachs is not feeling too, iffy. So we can eat of the chapel's bounty. A smiling priest unlocks the door of the storehouse for you. Here, he says, eat, but take nothing away with you. We are maybe not going to do that. We have some hunger, but also, we've been trying to play Tohil in a particular kind of way. Let's gather intelligence. What occurs here between the darkness and the light? A smiling priest in a red cassock tends to the chapel. The congregation are shy of light. They come and go in little ships, and it's strangely difficult to count them. Perhaps some of them are imaginary. Still, you note the name of a ship or two. Million candles glow. A congregation gathers. Yes, the Chapel of Lights is not a good place for appetites of any sort. Speaking of which, your sigil-ridden navigator races toward the chapel. Blah. This is the place. Hark, the bell. I did not try to do his voice there. You give chase. Within, the air is heavy and hushed. Oh, it's live specimens, not strange catches. Dang. All right, well, my mistake. At the very least, we should be able to... let's see. Oh, also a live specimen. We needed strange catches for something, and I just got it wrong. I will figure it out. Eventually. Well, in the meantime, let us go to... Well, we don't need the fuel. So let's maybe cut straight down to polythreme, shortening our journey somewhat. And the port reports would be nice, but also I think I am rightfully nervous about the presence of the Crimson Beast of Winter in my hold, and trying to do at least a little bit of role-playing as a captain who cares somewhat about his crew. So let's just... Oh, crap. That's a complication I didn't need. You know what? Mount Palmerston's actually looking pretty good this time of year. Oh, come on. I just turned to get out of your path. Please stop. Ugh. So to our south is Mount Nomad. And even trying to slip past this way, I might very well... This may be the end of Captain Tohil. As you can see, it has 1,000 hit points. And it's not slow. Yeah, that was 38 damage and 10 terror from being hit just then. Oh, no. All right. Oh, boy. That was terrible luck. Slip beneath the waves. Perhaps you'll be remembered in song. Goodbye, Captain Tohil. Oh, choked. I could have gotten away, but I choked. All right. Well, let's see what we can do in terms of warrant of redemption here. Not a lot because we didn't have an ironclad will. We were saving up for a ship. So let's see. We can retain 50% of our iron, 50% of our mirrors and money, 50% of our veils and money, 50% of our pages and our chart. I didn't like this chart very much. That's often a pretty tempting one, but I think we're going to do veils and money here. Give us a nice little infusion of starting cash. This is honestly how the captain that I had that was the most successful went, is like just being able to afford stuff. I had at that point an ironclad will, and I could, pass on rather more from captain to captain. So, not perhaps the worst thing in the world, but of course we don't have any of our other legacies, just the warrant of redemption. We were Tohill's salvager. It doesn't look like our veils was actually high enough to affect our starting combat stats here. So let us accept our legacy here to keep that money. We'll set up a new captain and then I'll call it. Mount Nomad at least had good timing, it being right at 2 hours. So we are captain in the making. 3 decades ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile beneath the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but it opened a vast black ocean to you. Welcome to the Untersee. So let's choose a past again. We may do past Wreathed in Shadows later, since I'm sure we have a couple more captains coming. But let's choose a past. Decide who you were and what you want to be. Let's see. We've done... what? Urchin and Poet. Let's be a natural philosopher this time, giving us some mirrors, as that's something we've lacked before. Your peculiar theories on time, blood, and starlight brought you down to the Neath and the cavern where London lies, and now they will take you out to Z. So let's do that. We got some mirrors, some echoes, a plausible surgeon. He probably won't saw off the wrong limb, and someone looking for passage. Your acquaintance, the plausible surgeon, will serve as a ship's doctor until you find someone better. Our ambition here, I believe we had becoming a very great famous Zaylor in the past, but and we had done immortality on Celiand as captain. I think probably fulfillment was Tohill's. This philosopher one does feel like the Untersee, the Submariner expansion's immortality ambition fits very well, so let's do that. Tall tales. The presbyterate guards its secrets fiercely, but amidst the clamor and beer stains of the blind helmsman, a salt-scarred navigator is telling tales of the continent's deepest interior, of a city called Nida, the origin of the presbyter's long life. Where is he getting this information? Bring wine. He's susceptible to wine. So yeah, we'll find the navigator and our first clue in London. Last scrap of paperwork. Captain, an irregularity with the Harbor Master's office. They wish to know what term of address you prefer ashore. This will determine what people call your captain, but your captain's gender is up to you. I feel like this particular philosopher is probably either citizen or captain, putting on airs, but I like citizen. We're going to start characterizing our philosopher a little bit here. A term of address popular among those of egalitarian sentiments. So there we go. Citizen. Perhaps you're some sort of rebel-rousing enthusiast, eh? Last piece of advice. Explore, take chances. This captain will probably die. The Z is hungry, but each captain passes on lessons to the next. And here we are. Let's pick a cameo and a name. Let's see. I don't think I've used this cameo before, and it looks very posh and academic. Now, of course, name-wise, that one's a little bit tougher. While we're doing podcast names, scholar's name seems appropriate here, so this will be Citizen Ruta. And here we are. I will do nothing else much this time. So thank you all for tuning in. Gonna call it here. Appreciate you spending some time with me on a Monday night, even if it meant saying an ignominious goodbye to Captain Toeheel. He will be remembered fondly, as will his 900 echoes. So thank you again, and sometime soon I'll be back. Probably not with Sunless Sea. This has been our interstitial captain here between other games. So before the next time I stream, I'll figure out what it is I'm going to be streaming and try to, do a whole game in there, and then we'll do some more Fallen London stuff in between each game. That has kind of become my habit. So thanks, and bye for now. Have a great evening.